On May 13th, the first and only test of a live upkeep bomb was undertaken off the Kent coast. It worked perfectly. May 15th, 1943. Operation Chastise, Britain's attack on German dams, is scheduled for the next day. The last Lancasters were delivered to 617 Squadron. VHF radios installed in the aircraft allowed Commander Guy Gibson to communicate with each and every one of his squadron's aircraft at all times during the raid. Aerial reconnaissance flights showed that the Ruhr Dam reservoirs were now full. And there was one last check for any new anti-aircraft defenses. Recently, most of the heavier 88mm anti-aircraft guns had been withdrawn. The Moehne Dam was now defended mainly by 37 and 20mm automatic cannons. The Lancasters had to be lifted by cranes in order to load the upkeep bombs. The oversized bombs were then winched into the bomb bays. Each of these aerial mines weighed 9,250 pounds, was packed with 6,600 pounds of Torpex explosives, and set to detonate at a depth of 30 feet. 617 Squadron was ready for action when the briefing on its top-secret targets finally came. The attacks would be undertaken in 3 waves. In the first wave, 9 aircraft led by Guy Gibson would attack the Moehne and Eder dams. The second wave of 5 aircraft would attack the Sorpe dam. The third wave, also of 5 aircraft, would take off 2 hours later, target any dam still intact, or reserve targets including 3 other dams. The code word for a successful attack against the Moehne Dam was to be Nigger, after Guy Gibson's dog. Tragically, shortly before Operation Chastise was mounted, the dog was run over and killed. It was a bad sign. On the evening of the 15th, the order to execute Operation Chastise was given by the Chief of Air Staff, Sir Charles Portal. Sunday, May 16, 1943. The activity at RAF Scampton was frantic as last-minute preparations were made to the Lancaster bombers. In the long minutes before takeoff, the air crews tried in vain to relax. Many went through their good luck rituals. An Australian pilot, Flight Lieutenant Mickey Martin, tucked a toy koala bear into his flying jacket. Sergeant Douglas Webb took a bath. He was convinced he would not survive and wished to die clean. Many told jokes too loudly. Most smoked. Eventually, it was time to go.
Yes, everything's okay, sir. Full bang on, is it? Yes, everything's bang on, sir. Right here.
At 21:28 hours, the green light was given. The Special Lancasters of 617 Squadron took to the air with their ungainly bomb loads. To avoid detection by enemy radar and night fighters, the Lancasters flew as low as possible across the North Sea. Once over the Dutch coast, the Lancasters dropped to treetop level. At that altitude, high-tension electrical power lines were particularly dangerous. There were several near misses. Some were not so lucky. Flight Lieutenant Bill Astle and his crew in Lancaster B for Baker were early victims when their aircraft hit an electric support tower. As the Lancasters approached Germany, air defenses of searchlights and anti-aircraft guns intensified. The air gunners fought back with vigor, their tracer rounds arcing through the night. Even so, both of the first two waves lost an aircraft to German flak. Guy Gibson and his remaining 8 Lancasters of the first wave arrived over the Moehne Dam soon after midnight. Gibson later recalled, "In that light it looked squat and heavy and unconquerable. It looked gray and solid in the moonlight, as though it were part of the countryside itself, and just as immovable."
There it is, boys. Pretty aggressive, aren't they? Someone's woken them up. What do you think about it, Bob? My goodness, it's big, isn't it? Can we really break that? How many guns do you think there are, Trevor?
I say there's about 10 guns. Some in the field and some in the towers. You seem to have upset them a bit.
After circling the dam, Gibson radioed his men.
Hello, cooler aircraft. I'm going into attack. Stand by to come in your order when I tell it. Check height, Jerry. Speed control, forward. Gunners ready. Coming up, Bam. 220. This is fine. I can see everything. Down a little. 230. 230. 30. Down a little. 235. Stand by to pull me out of the seat if I get hit. 30. 240. 30. Hold it steady. 235. Hold it. 240. Hold it. 235. That's fine. 235. Long gun.
It's still there.
The bomb exploded some 50 yards from the center of the dam. The water subsided, and there was no breach. The next attack was made by Flight Lieutenant Hoppy Hopgood in Mother. It was immediately hit by flak, and the engine burst into flames. The bomb bounced over the dam parapet and exploded on the power station below. Hopgood tried desperately to gain a height so that his crew could bail out. 3 managed to do so. Only 2 survived. Mother crashed in flames at a place called Himmelpforten, the gateway to heaven. With Gibson flying in parallel to draw the flak, Flight Lieutenant Mickey Martin launched the next attack in P for Popsy. The bomb exploded with a massive plume of water, but again, there was no breach. The 4th Lancaster to attack was flown by Squadron Leader Dinghy in A for Apple. Flanked by Gibson and Martin to distract the German gunners, A for Apple made a perfect bombing run, and the upkeep exploded precisely on target. But when the water subsided, the dam still held. Next came J for Joker with Flight Lieutenant David Maltby at the controls. His upkeep bomb was dropped with deadly precision, but even as it bounced towards the target, the dam began to crumble. The Moehne Dam collapsed, disgorging a gigantic torrent of water. Barnes-Wallis had been right all along. One bomb, exploding at exactly the right spot, was sufficient to breach a dam. The attack on the Moehne Dam was a success, but there were more dams to be destroyed.